icon so you get notified when a new video gets uploaded. Don't miss out on our dynamite lineup. Education Radio, hosted by Pia Morato, is on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Teleradio Bandido Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel RJAM News. This brings service to all educators and learners of every age. The program guests include secretaries, dignitaries, ambassadors, lawmakers, professors, volunteers, and heroes, all dedicated to contribute to this valuable advocacy. We take the streets to the classroom and the classroom to the streets.
Good morning. Good morning, Manila. Good morning, Philippines. Good morning, world. Welcome to Education Radio. Again, with our series with Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade. Good morning, sir.
Hi, Pia. Good morning.
Good morning. So I made a compilation, sir, of questions from people who have been listening and tuning into our program. And here's where we're going to start with. Yung first question natin is on the peace talks. So our listeners and viewers want to hear from you, sir. Why these peace talks started anyhow and why they are not working?
Okay, first of all, Pia, it's about the real agenda with these peace talks. It's not really about peace. You know, at the end state of these peace talks, it's to be able to prosecute their national democratic revolution. Meron tinatawag silang social revolution, and then eventually yung communist government will take over. Nasa ano ito eh? All of these are in the peace framework of the CPP. They're also in the CASER, Comprehensive Agreement on Socio-Economic Reforms. And then it's contained in the four substantive agenda of the peace framework being proposed by the National Democratic Front. At lahat ng dokumentong ito, ang end state really is not about attaining peace. In fact, one of the significant, the main difference between the peace talks that the MILF, for instance, and the MNLF is pursuing, in contrast to what the CPP is pursuing, is that there is no DDR. There's no demobilization, reintegration, disarmament, and reintegration. Mm-hmm. In other words, even if we'll have peace, even if the government and the CPP will shake hands, they are not going to demobilize their NPAs. They will retain their NPAs. Yes. At ito dapat maintindihan natin, because instead of demobilization of the NPAs, what they're proposing is the demobilization of GRP military. That's the AFP, yeah?
Yeah, wow.
Yun yung sinasabi ko last time. Yes.
Oo, yes.
Yun ang intention nila. I-demobilize ang armed forces at ang iiwan ay yung engineering brigades natin, because they wanted the engineering brigades to help in the rural industrialization, in the agrarian revolution, and all these programs that they have in the communities. So yun lang kailangan nila, kaya yun lang ang i-retain nila. Yeah.
Kasi wala silang capability doon, so yun lang ang i-retain nila. Ganon.
Right. But that's the sad thing about this. How can you have a total peace, a genuine peace, if you're going to retain instead the arms of this CPP and their allies and the NPAs? Mm-mm. Instead of the government, instead of retaining the armed forces, ito yun, sila ang dapat na i-retain. Now, we go back to the statements of, for instance, si Franz Castro ng ACT. Last time, naging very viral yung kanyang statement when she said that the AAP should just disarm themselves. Ang sinasabi niya, si AAP na lang daw mag-disarm. It's also consistent with the statement of Marco Valbuena, the spokesperson of the NDF, of the CPP, sorry, when he said that the AAP and the PNP should just surrender their firearms.
Yes.
Can you imagine? So they're consistent
Yeah.
in that principle that for us to have peace, the AAP should give way. The Philippine government should give up their arms. So, paano yun?
Oo
Are they
nga.
telling us these things? Ito ba sinishare nila, itong mga planong ito, sinishare nila sa atin when they talk of peace talks? No. And then we go back to the five tracks of the International Department of Jose Maria Sison. Remember, there's this international department that Jose Maria Sison created when he was sent, or he went exiled in Utrecht.
Yes.
So nandun yung UN infiltration of the UN system, nandun yung migrante, nandun yung International League of People Struggle, nandun yung International Solidarity Works, and then nandoon yung peace talks. Peace talks is just one of the tracks that they are pursuing. But peace talks does not entail, again, the disarmament of the NPAs, if ever that peace will be achieved in agreement with the Philippine government. No, wala yan. Consistent talaga sila doon sa planong yun. So ang peace talks naman, they're just using that as a way to encourage support from the European governments, from foreign governments, para ipakita na sila ang gusto nila talaga ay kapayapaan.
Yes.
But kasama yon lahat sa deception na ginagawa nitong Communist Party of the Philippines.
Deception na nga, sir. Tapos history will show that the peace talks did never work in the first place, hindi po ba? How many
Yes.
presidents have we gone through na hindi naman talaga siya nag-work?
Yes, we've been to, I think, 14 or 15 peace talks before, since 34 years ago. Since the first one was in 1989. We had 91, I think. So from then on, we never had peace really, because every time there's peace talks, what happens is that the armed group expands. So they're using these peace talks as an opportunity to do IPO works, and then to expand their base, their political base, and their armed base. So ganun ang nangyari, and it's a trend that we saw after 34 years of dealing with this National Democratic Front, especially when we talk about peace talks. And ang isang precondition dyan when they ask for peace talks, ang isang precondition is the release of political prisoners. They become part of the NDF peace consultants. So palaging ganyan. So, ang dami-dami na nating na-release ng mga rebelde, mga terorista, mga leaders nila na na-involved in the violence before, on the guise that they are members or they will be participating in the peace table. Yeah. Pero nasaan na sila ngayon? Nung na-terminate ang mga peace talks na ito, remember, we had so many of them, nasaan sila? Hindi naman sila bumalik sa kulungan. That's part of the condition actually. Every time na may peace talks, i-release sila, they become part of the peace table as peace consultants representing the NDF. But kung mag-lapse na yung talks, they have to go back to the control of the government. Pero nasaan sila? Lahat sila nakawala, including the Chamson couple, Sina Tirso Alcantara, lahat yan sila nakawala. Walang bumalik sa ano. So palagi yan, ginagamit nila itong peace talks na ito in order to leverage on this, maparelease nila yung mga political prisoners nila, and then to achieve other goals they have, like expanding their bases.
The thing is, sir, we're talking about not only deception but also duplicity. Hindi po ba? Kasi they make promises eh. They say, if you welcome us, we will help you build roads, diba? We will help you in livelihood. The exact same things that yung tinutupad ng gobyerno natin ngayon, kasi meron tayong balik loob. nakikita po natin yung mga former rebels bumabalik sa gobyerno kasi yung mga promises na hindi na itutupad, 'di ba? Nung kabila itong ginagawa ng gobyerno. But at the same time, sir, they make those promises and yet they want the AFP to be the ones to, remove their arms, right? But retain what you're saying, their engineering capacity. Di po ba?
Yes, so that's what the government has been doing.
Ang AFP ang gagamitin nila, 'di ba? Para itupad yung mga promises nila na hindi naman talaga totoo.
Right. If you remember, at the start of President Duterte's administration, we had this peace talks, right?
Yes.
And then we had, I think, 6 members of the CPP in the cabinet of the president to, just to show goodwill.
Mhm.
So yung sinasabi mo, mga programa ng gobyerno, ini-implement nito. I'll just speak of the 6. For instance, ito si Dar, Secretary Mariano before. So agrarian reform, supposedly ang i-implement niya ay yung agrarian reform ng gobyerno. Ang nangyari, no, when he was secretary, ang ini-implement niya ay yung agrarian revolution. Kaya nagkagulo-gulo yung mga pagbibigay ng titulo, pagbibigay ng lupa sa ating mga farmers. Kasi yung mga beneficiaries, suddenly, nagpalit ng beneficiaries. Suddenly, yung beneficiaries, for instance, sa Palawan, sa Mindoro, sa Bicol, iba na. Hindi na yung mga legitimate beneficiaries. Sino bang nabigyan? Ang nabigyan, puro yung mga supporters nila, yung mga masa nila. Nawala yung totoong beneficiary. Do you remember yung Sagay incident? Yung sa Sagay. Yeah, ganun ang nangyari doon. May beneficiary yung lupa na yon. I forgot the number of hectares, but meron na talagang entitled doon, naayos na yon as program by DAR. Pumasok ito ngayon, itong grupo na ito.
Mm-hmm.
Ang tawag pa rin nila yon ay okupasyon, bungkalan. Pagka it's about the land, but okupasyon pagka mga buildings tulad ng mga housing. So yung bungkalan na ginawa sa Sagay, ang naging beneficiaries ay ibang grupo na mas naalyado ng CPP, NPA. Kaya nag-away yung totoong beneficiary na binigyan ng gobyerno at saka yung isang grupo na create ng CPP. So ganun palagi ang nangyayari. Ganyan din ang nangyayari dun sa Palawan, kaya nagkagulo. Ganyan din ang nangyayari sa Mindoro. Kaya nagiging magulo yung programa ng gobyerno kasi inahaluan nila ng ibang agenda nila. In other words, they are implementing government programs but gets the credit. Ang sinasabi nila, kita nyo, kung hindi kami nakialam, hindi mangyayari itong programang ito, hindi kayo magkakaroon ng lupa. So yan ang sinasabi ng CPP when they implement all these government programs. And so with all these roads, kita nyo, nagkaroon tayo ng kalsada rito dahil kami ang nagpagawa. Ito yung mga ng mga kabayan black. Ito yung palagi nating naririnig, especially sa mga laylayan. So sinasabi nila, sila daw ang nag-push ng mga programs na ito. When in fact, yun? It's a regular program of the government. Itong mga farm-to-market roads, mga barangay roads. So tama ka, Pia, dun sa sinasabi mo. But I mentioned about peace talks. Ang nangyari, kaya just a short background lang, bakit tinerminate ni Presidente yung peace talks. So while we are having this peace talks, so ceasefire, no? Pia, maalala mo yun?
Yes.
Naalala mo yun, December 24, inaambush yung pulis sa Masbate,
Yes.
and then sa Bukidnon. Kaya galit na galit si Presidente.
Correct.
Christmas time, may ceasefire at may peace talks, inaambush ang mga tropa ng NPA. So nasaan nga yung sinceridad nila doon? So that's really the issue here when we say peace talks. We have to make sure that the other side is sincere about achieving peace. So yun yung mga questionable issues dito.
Kailangan talaga natin himayin Kasi when you hear the word peace talks, sa isip ng tao, di ba, oh, okay, magka-collaborate na to, mag-uusap na sila. Eh, matagal na tayo nag-uusap, hindi naman, it doesn't work, right? So, we want our people to understand why there's no resumption of peace talks anymore because it's being used, right? And it is never working for us. And the opposite of what we're doing is the actual thing that, really helps the whole entire nation, because we see that the government is bringing back the basic services, right, to the people on the ground. Pati nga yung mga former rebels, lumilipit na sa atin. So that is what is working. That is why we are not going to resume the peace talks anymore. So I hope, yes, sir.
I expand ko lang ng konti ito, no? Remember, the president almost signed this peace agreement with the NDFP. This was in June or July 2018. Nasa Malacanang kami noon. Supposedly, that peace agreement isusubmit na ipapadala na sa Utrecht 3 days after that command conference sa Malacanang. Only to find out that actually, pinirmahan na pala ni na Secretary Bello yung on behalf of the GRP, pinirmahan na yung peace agreement, ipapadala na doon sa Utrecht. So, na-question namin yun. And where's the transparency here? Who knows about these conditions that the GRP is offering the NDFP for the resumption of peace talks? Yun yung mga tinanong namin doon sa command conference. And then finally, si Presidente na nagtanong, teka, sabi niya, nasaan yung kondisyon na hiningi ko? Which is, sabi niya, dapat wala ng mga ambush, dapat wala ng mga extortion, dapat wala ng sunugan ng mga equipment, ng mga construction projects, wala na, dapat tuloy-tuloy na yon. Saka yung peace talks dapat dito sa loob sa Pilipinas.
Yeah.
Hindi makasagot si Secretary Bello noon. Ang sabi niya, Mr. President, may request for an executive session. Sabi na, no. Anong executive session ka dyan? Explain to this group. Nandyan yung military, nandyan yung police, nandyan yung mga ibang cabinet secretaries. Explain to this group why we have to pursue these peace talks. Kasi, sabi nga niya, kini-question ko na nga, tinatanong ko na nga, what is that just sig? Remember, there are 4 substantive agendas when we talk of the peace framework that the CPP, NPA, the NDF is pushing. Number 1 is just sig. Okay na yun, just sig. Yung immunity ng mga na-involve, mga peace consultants. Okay lang yun. Bigyan natin sila ng immunity para makapag-participate sila. Karil, napirma na yan, panahon ni President Estrada. Comprehensive Agreement on International Humanitarian Law. Karil, then CASER, Comprehensive Agreement on Socio-Economic Reforms, and then CAPSER, yung Comprehensive Agreement on Political and Constitutional Reforms. So itong CASER and CAPSER, hindi pa ito napipirman. And this CASER is really one of the most contentious framework na ino-offer nila. Kasi dito nakalagay yung sinasabi ko, Pia, that they are going to demobilize the GRP military instead of the AAP. At madami pa doon. Confiscation. Nakalagay doon. Isi-sequester nila all these multinational companies. Kung ikaw meron kang firm dyan sa industrial park, sa Laguna, sa Batangas, sa Cavite, wala. Isasara mo yan kasi isi-sequester yan ng gobyerno. So magkakaroon ng capital flight. These things, they don't explain. Di yan sinasabi sa atin, tinatago yan sa atin. Marami pa. I-repeal yung Mining Act. Ang Mining Act natin napakaganda. One of the best in Asia, and yet they wanted it to repeal. I-repeal yung IPRA law, IP Reform Act. Can you imagine, that's the only law in the world that protects indigenous peoples. Tayo lang meron nun, Tia. Pero gusto nilang i-abrogate, i-repeal yun. Para mamayagpag na naman sila sa mga ancestral domain. Agricultural Act, gusto lang i-repeal. Fisheries, Agriculture Modernization and or Modernization Act. Yun, ang dami nilang gustong i-repeal. Ang gusto nilang mangyari, talagang economic sabotage ang agenda. Ang gusto nang mangyari, magkaroon ng kaguluhan sa Pilipinas, maghirap ang mga Pilipino para lalong maging may saysay yung pagpasok nila sa socialist revolution. Yes. So that's the deception and the duplicity there, Pia, John, when they talk of peace talks. And sadly, naniniwala yung mga kasamahan nila, mga kasama natin sa clergy, dahil nga naman kapayapaan. Of course, Pia, sino ba ang gusto ng kapayapaan? Lahat tayo, lalo na mga sundalo. But we have to understand what this peace are they talking about? Ano bang klaseng, baka yun na nga, siyempre, dahil sa tagal na nating pinaghihirapan itong insurgency na ito, ang dami na nating casualties, talagang very excited tayo magkaroon ng kapayapaan, hindi naman natin naiintindihan kung ano ang kapalit nito. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yung proseso din, sir, di ba? Yung kapalit
Yes.
or yung proseso din, what we have to go through to achieve peace.
Right.
Meron din nga, sir, like there's a news, you were talking about burning equipment. In fact, 2 days ago maybe, the Surigao City Mayor also condemned the NPA for burning their equipment. I'm sure you also might know about this, di ba? So patuloy pa nga sila. While they want peace talks, they're still doing these things, right?
Yes.
So, yes, sir, go ahead.
Grabe ang continuous yun. Yung panununog nila ng equipment, pagtigilan ng mga projects. Sa Bicol, nagrereklamo yung mga contractor, yung governor. Nagrereklamo sila kasi pinatitigil yung kanilang mga projects kung hindi sila magbayad ng extortion money. Sabi ko, no. Lahat ng projects nyo nasisecure namin. So why stop? Siyempre yung spillage, ang tawag niyan, pagka siyempre nag-delay ka sa mga projects mo, may an additional cost yan. Sasagutin ng contractor yan. Sabi ko, so tuloy nyo yan. Huwag kayong matakot kasi for one, kokonti na lang yung kanilang mga armado. Kaya yan, gusto na lang ipalabas na meron pa silang malaking puwersa kahit na nag-iipon-ipon na lang sila, pinipilit na lang mag-ipon ng marami, although kokonti na lang sila. Because of this, gusto na lang takutin yung mga negosyante na meron pa silang kapasidad na mangharas nitong mga negosyanteng ito, mga contractor na ito. But if you're going to listen to the former rebels na nag-surrender recently, ayan, si Kamiles, nag-surrender yan. Ano yan? Tax Implementing Group ng Calabarzon. Sinasabi niya, na totoo lang sir, wala na rin kami magagawa kung hindi sila magbibigay. Why? Number one, naintindihan din namin na may COVID. So, kung pipilitin namin silang magbigay, ay lalong magagalit yung mga negosyante sa amin. Second, wala na rin kaming masyadong tropa para ipangharas dito sa mga contractor na ito. And of course, they see that all their projects, all the projects, government projects especially, yung mga priority projects, na nandun yung sundalo, sinisecure, at kasama ang community. So, but yes, ipinipilit nila yan pagka mayroong opportunity because it takes only 2 people to burn equipment. Yung isa tagahawak ng posporo at saka yung isa tagabuhos ng gasolina.
Yun.
So, kayang-kaya nilang gawin yan actually. Kaya ang sinasabi ko sa mga mamamayan natin, it's not only our job in the AFP to secure them. It's also your responsibility to watch these people kasi 2 tao nga lang yan at napakahirap bantayan ang lahat ng project sites. Especially kung ang hinahanap lang natin ay yung mga armed group na magsusunog nito. No, minsan nakamotor yan lang sila tapos yun na, strike and go. Parang ganun lang.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And you know, sir, ito rin, some of our viewers nga and listeners, maganda yung mga tanong nila. It's a little basic, but they're very good questions. One is which siguro I feel this is also a young person who asked. They have a penchant for words. And namimili po sila ng mga grupo with certain words like yung courage, 'di ba? Syempre ang appeal nun sa mga tao is, wow, 'di ba? Courage group, right? But let's talk about what courage actually is. You know, Danica said something about it, right? Si Jose Maria Sison said courage is an allied organization of the Communist Party of the Philippines. But also, DG Alex Paul Monteguado said that courage is a front organization of the Communist Party of the Philippines. So, yung kabataan, we want them to understand when they see, groups like this with such nice words, isa na yung peace talks natin, that's nice to hear. Then you have another group which is called courage, that's also nice to hear, di ba? Ano po talaga ang laman nito?
Yeah, remember, we go back to the basic of this insurgency, of this communist insurgency, deception, duplicity. Kaya tingnan mo, tama yon, kabataang makabayan. Yan,
Oh,
makabayan, di ba? Oh, courage, yan.
yan.
Meron silang sinasabi na Gabriela, from
Gabriela.
Gabriela Silang. So, yung matatapang na mga kababaihan. So, yan,
Magandang
act.
pakinggan, sir, pero ang bigat ng laman at delikado
Yes.
pa, di ba?
So, talagang ganun ang sistema nila para hikayatin yung mga kabataan, yung mga kababaihan, yung mga workers para para sumali sa kanila. But what they don't understand is that these organizations are really front organizations. Anong red tagging na naman ang sinasabi nitong mga makakaliwa na ito at saka mga senador na ito at saka yung mga nagbabatiko sa kay DG Nica? Hindi hindi yun kami ang nagtag sa kanila as red, because if you check the website of International League of People's Struggle, nandun yan. Ang courage nandun yun. Member sila ng ILPS. It's an organization led by Jose Marie Sison. Although chairman emeritus siya ngayon, ang chairman niyan ngayon ay Australian, si Len Cooper. But all those organizations na pinag-uusapan natin is in that International League of People's Struggle. If you go to the ndfp.org website, hindi mo makikita ang courage dyan. Why? Because courage is a legal front organization. It's being run by MKP. Si MKP, yan ang makikita mo doon sa ndfp.org. So mga kababayan, kung pumunta kayo doon sa sa website nila, ndfp.org, makikita mo doon ang MKP. Hindi mo rin makikita doon yung Anak Bayan, Kabataan, League of Filipino Students, CAGP, NUSP. No, you're not going to see these organizations under the ndfp.org. Why? Because they are legal front organizations. Ang NDF is not legal. It's illegal. It's doing underground works. Kaya ang makikita mo doon, isang prominenteng miyembro ng National Democratic Front ay BHB, Bagong Hukbong Bayan. In short, Pia, New People's Army. Member siya ng National Democratic Front, itong BHB, including yung mga binanggit ko na underground mass organization like Kabataang Makabayan, which is running the above ground organization tulad ng Anak Bayan, Kabataan, LFS, CAGP. Napakadami niyan, mga organisasyon ng mga kabataan. And so with Gabriela, you don't see Gabriela in the NDFP. What you see there is Makibaka. Yung Makibaka is the party group, the underground organization of Gabriela, which is running this organization, this Gabriela. So, for instance, yung mga Gabriela youth, ito sina Joan Lapira, they were not part of Gabriela Youth per se. Hindi. Sila ay tumawid na sa pagiging member ng Makibaka. Kaya sila, they're wielding arms, and when they were caught and they were encountered by the troops, may mga armas sila kasi they are doing underground works already with the NPAs. So yun, Pia. At tama yung sinasabi nila that courage is just pushing for advocacies, privileges ng mga employees. For instance, if we talk of the Senado, ito yung courage chapter dyan sa Senate, tama yun. They're working for the privileges of their employees. It's a legal organization because unionism is legal. It's allowed in our democratic space. But then, MKP ang nagpapatakbo sa kanila. I think it's called the Makabayang Kawani ng Pilipinas, MKP. Ito yung mga underground mass organization na nagpapatakbo ng other courage chapters all over the country in all in the bureaucracy. Alam mo ba na sa DND meron ding courage? Tagong-tago lang yan. Yes, sa DILG meron din. Pero tagong-tago yan. Sa halos sa NIA, napakalakas ng courage dyan. Sa DepEd, napakalakas ng courage yan. And then of course merong ACT. Iba pa yung ACT, iba pa yung courage. So si Jose Maria Sisa na mismo at saka yung mga websites nila ang nagsasabi na they are front organizations of the CPP. So, no amount of denying, Pia. No
Yeah.
amount. Kasi ang nagsasabi na nga sa atin ay etong mga former rebels natin. We are looking for one former terrorist members na sana maimbita natin next time. Imbitahan
Sige,
natin dito
sir.
sa...
Yes, I look forward
Yeah.
to that.
Yes. At napakadami nila na pwede magsabi kung paano ito, bakit nila ginagawa ito, nagpapakilala sila na magagandang or mga makabayan na kasapi ng gobyerno na tumutulong sa and yet minamanipulate nila yung mga miyembro nila para itulak sila doon eventually sa underground. Hindi naman lahat tinutulak nila. Like I said, pinipili lang nila yung merong desire to go underground, to live a more, to join the armed struggle. Nandun yun. May level yan, di ba? May 7 stages yan of radicalization. At kung ikay pumasa doon sa pangalawa, pangatlo, pang-apat, hanggang ikaw ay magiging kandidatong kasapi na, at saka ikaw ay maging ganap na kasapi. When we say ganap na kasapi, you're a full-time CPP member already.
Which leads me to this next question, because more people are asking and understanding the CTG in connection with this courage and all that. CTG infiltration of the civil service sector and the other branches of the government. People are shocked Parang, wow, it's infiltrated. It's in our system, sir. Right? Sinabi nyo nga, DepEd. Nakikita natin yan kasi we wonder, why is it in some of our textbooks, di ba? We suddenly see all these information that it goes either against the president, the government, or even our armed forces.
Yes. The CPP really intends to infiltrate all sectors. Lahat. Actually, walang pinatawad yan. In the place of work, in your homes, in your schools, lahat yan pinasok nila. So, in the place of work, establish yung mga unions, di ba? Hindi naman bawal yung union eh. Sa labor, sa mga industries, merong mga KMU na na-establish. Kilosang Mayu Uno. But sila ay pinapatakbo rin nung underground mass organization ng CPP. Yeah. Sa gobyerno, ganun din. Hindi naman nakaligtas yung gobyerno. Mas maingat nga lang sila. Maingat sila kaya hindi sila masyadong...
How do they do that, sir? How do they hide themselves or cover themselves?
Because they know. Because they have to do that because they know that the government knows about this organization as front organizations of the AP. But kung mapansin mo, Pia, may mga union na open sila. Nakikipag-usap sila sa ating mga leaders, nakikiusap sila sa mga secretaries natin, mga department secretaries. Open sila. Why? Because they believe and they know na legitimate yung kanilang advocacies. Yung mga pinupost nila ay makabuluhan at legitimate. Itong courage, nakahaluan ito ng mga illegitimate na agenda. Of course, above ground, ang pinupost nila ay talagang mga better benefits, higher pay, mga housing siguro, privileges, health services, mga ganon. But yung underground agenda nila, of course, hindi nila yan ilalantad. Ngayon, nagwawala yung Senado. Kasi, kukunti lang sa kanila ang nakakaalam talaga na yung kanilang organisasyon ay pinapatakbo ng MKP. Pero kapag lumantad na itong mga MKP na ito at ipakita natin yung kanilang direct links, ito na yan, tatahimik na yan sila. But, they always attempt to resist this red tagging kasi for the longest time, ito yung naging depensa nila. Kaya nagtagal at tayo naman ay hesitant, tayo na expose sila because of this. Grabe yan, mangbubuli. Ikaw ay bubuli niyan kapag nag-attempt ka na i-red tag ka. But again, we are not the ones red tagging them. Again, punta ka doon sa ndfp.org, talagang namumula yung website nila. Lahat ng mga organizations nila, talagang pula ang logo nila. Hindi pwedeng yellow or hindi pwedeng blue. Talagang pula. So, anong tawag mo doon, Pia?
Diba? What else? Be red. Diba?
Yung
Sila mismo
kanina,
red tag sa kanilang sarili.
yeah, kanina nabanggit mo yung libro. So we
Mm.
called out
I have to
DepEd
copy that,
already.
sir.
Yeah, kita mo? As early grade 4 pa lang tapos ganyan na yung pinapasok nila doon sa mga manuals ng mga bata. And these are DepEd schools. These are public schools. Can you imagine? Paano nakalusot 'yon? So yan yung mga tanong, 'di ba? Kasi kung yung act lang, for instance, yung act, ang gagawa niyan, papalag yung ibang miyembro. Kasi sabi nila, bakit ganito yung ginagawa natin? Akala natin benefits ng teachers ang bakit ito na meron na tayong radicalization na ginagawa dito sa mga kabataan. Hindi ako papayag niyan. And these are ACT members but yung mga members ng Kaguma, this is the underground organization running ACT, they are the ones manipulating all this, yung printing nito mga manuals na ito, and then yung very subtle yung mga distribution ng mga manuals na ito. And then, ang iba nga dyan, hindi talaga manual. Kung hindi, parang ano lang, photocopy lang sila ng extra copies at doon nila isinisingit yan. Just to circumvent the policies of DepEd, for instance. And this, and sometimes, nagagamit din nila. Sometimes, nakikita natin si DepEd, may acknowledgement doon sa mga manuals na ginawa, for instance, ng Ibon Foundation kasi partnership daw ng DepEd, ng Ibon Foundation, yung paggawa ng mga manuals doon sa Salugpungan schools. Remember, I was talking about this earlier. Sa Salugpungan schools, sa Clan, sa Trip, sa Alcadeb, ito yung mga alternative learning centers doon sa Mindanao.
Yes.
Yung mga libro nila doon, ang laman sa loob, hindi talaga yun yung DepEd manual. Sabi ko nga, ang nakalagay doon, for instance, one of the glaring na nakita ko doon, for instance, sinasabi nila doon, okay, national tree, Nara, national bird, Philippine eagle, national hero, Father Pops. Ayun, nakasulat
Diba?
yan doon. Father Pops. And who is Father Pops? Father Pops is Father Tentorio. Father Pops Tentorio is an Italian priest na komunista. Ito ay nag-recruit ng mga katutubo, I forgot the tribe. Sa North Cotabato, nag-recruit siya ng 800, nagpa-aaral siya ng mga 800 na indigenous peoples, mga children. Kaya lang, of the 800, alam mo, more than 700 ang nag-NPA. Kaya galit na galit yung mga magulang ng mga katutubo. Sabi nila, anong nangyari dun sa anak ko? Akala ko maganda yung sinapit nung anak ko kasi naging scholar ni Father Pops. Ayun, naging NPA. Kaya ano yun kaya na-disgrasya yun si Father Pops kasi na-find out na rin ng mga katutubo doon na si Father Pops Tentorio isa doon sa mga nag-push ng mga bata para maging NPA yung kanilang mga anak. And yet, nakalagay yan doon national hero. So anong nangyari kay Jose Rizal? Yeah. Of course, si DepEd hindi papayag pag nakita ni DepEd ito. Iba na yung history yung tinuturo natin sa mga kabataan. At napakadami pa ang laman noon
Grabe, sir. And nakakalusot. So, di ba, sir, parang isang araw makikita mo na lang paano nakalusot yung mga ganito. And it's very dangerous kasi grade 4, impressionable, yung age na yan, the younger. I'm a teacher, sir, so I know the younger, the better. Di ba? So, hindi po ako magtataka kung bakit grade 4.
Yes. That's why hindi po pwede yung sinasabi ni Sara Ilago na nasa matinong kaisipan na yung mga bata nung sila ay sumali sa NPA. Of course, kung dumaan na sila doon sa indoctrination na yan, sa radicalization at a very, very early age, by the time na mag-decision sila, wala na silang ibang desisyon, kundi talaga yung maling desisyon na. So, of course, hindi na natin maka-question yun kasi matured age na sila. But yung pinagdaanan nila, yun yung kine-question natin at yun ang dapat na bantayan natin. Because that's not developing critical thinking, lalo na kung one side lang ang tinuturo. Remember last time we talked about this, hindi tinuturo ang civic and democracy. Ayaw ituro ang civic and democracy sa ating mga university schools, mga state universities. Sa UP, for instance, ipinaglaban ito ng ating gobyerno nung araw, 1970s pa, para pangtapat doon sa edukasyon na tinuturo dyan sa UP, for instance. Kasi ang naituturo lang doon ay Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. So what about the other side? But walang nagtuturo ng demokrasya, anong magandang maidudulot ng demokrasya. So yun yung intention sana noon. Kaya yung civics and democracy, pilit siya na ipinapatupad sa mga eskwelahan. Pero hindi, inupos yan. Panahon ni na Onofre Corpus, inupos yan. Kaya hanggang ngayon, hindi balanse yung pagtuturo doon sa University of the Philippines at saka sa ibang eskwelahan. Kaya nga hindi pwedeng itawag yan na academic freedom. Pwede naman yun, dapat naman talaga ang academic freedom ay sinusuporta natin. But lopsided, kung magiging lopsided ang itinuturo sa mga eskwelahan, and then may problema tayo.
Right. One of the other questions, ito talaga, these are students also, sir. Siyempre, the last time we also spoke about this, we want to be able to make the right connections between Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. It's only now, no, that our youth can see na, and feel, ito palang nangyayari sa Visayas region or like sa Davao, Mindanao region. And they're already starting to ask questions about what happened in this massacre, right? What's the story there? So kaya po, I want to ask, baka you can also explain to us about what one was asking, which is the Rano massacre. Ito po nangyari sa Davao del Sur, I think.
Sa Digos.
Yes, okay. So, because may mga pinatay na mga bata, mothers and fathers, right? And the young people are asking, wow, innocent people were really just kinatay dito, like as if they were nothing. So, sir, maybe you can also tell us more of this story.
Yeah, I think that was in 1989. Yung sa Digos
Yes,
yan. Sa Digos nangyari yan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ang ano dito, yung simbahan kasi, I think it's a UCCP or a Protestant congregation, kino-convert nung NPA, kino-convert nila na sumuporta sa kanila. Pumalag yung simbahan. This is what I know of the story, and I heard it from one of the cadres, dating cadres ng CPP na na-involved doon. Ngayon tumutulong na sa atin. Pumalag yung simbahan, minasakir yung lahat ng nandoon sa loob. May nag-survive. Actually, may nag-survive doon isang babae ngayon. Magandang magandang resource person yun. Bata pa siya noon. But I remember, I think nine na bata, including baby, ang pinatay doon sa Rano Massacre. Tapos ginawa yan na exhibit sa isang congressional hearing. Si Casino ang nagdala nito, si Teddy Casino, maalala ko yan, grabe yung debate niyan sa Senate. Until siya ay sinalungat siya nito ni Alcober. Sabi ni Alcober, hindi totoo yung sinasabi mo. Hindi totoo na yung Rano Massacre na yan ay kagagawan ng mga tad-tad group. Kagagawan niya ng NPA. So biglang nagulat doon si in other words, nagpo-propaganda ito si Teddy Casino.
Yeah.
Binuking siya nung hindi, kagagawa ng NPA yan. Yang picture na pinapakita mo na merong hawak-hawak na ulo, pinutulan ng ulo daw ng mga tad-tad group yung mga namatay doon sa simbahan. Hindi, yun eh. After nung incident, rumisponde yung community, yung tad-tad group, and then pinahawakan yung isa para ma-identify. Sabi niya, hawakan mo yan para ma-identify, tapos pinicturan. Yun ang ginamit na pang-propaganda ng and then in-identify yung may hawak ng as member ng anti-communist group. Kaya kawawa si si Teddy Casino kasi booking siya yung sa propaganda. Of course, later on saka natin nalaman na talaga palang NPA yung gumawa ng massacre na yon, at ginawa nila yon para gumawa din ng kwento against the government and against militias, against the communist party. So, yeah, can you imagine, Pia, ang grupong ito, sinasacrifice nila ang buhay ng mga inosenteng civilian para lang sirain ang gobyerno, para lang sirain yung ating demokrasya. Ganon ang propaganda nila. Napakadumi ng kanilang at
Yes,
kung
because-
ikaw ay hindi mo susuriin yung mga bagay-bagay, talagang maniniwala ka na violente itong mga tad-tad group na ito, yung mga anti-communist group na yan.
Yeah, because like the people there, hindi nila maintindihan bakit galit na galit sila. You know when we say sila who they are. Sa amin, 'di ba? Para gawin nila sa amin ito. Right? Because if I remember the story clearly, they just went to celebrate like a mass, right? And they were happily gathering. And then this massacre happened to them. So many innocents, right? So it's good to explain kasi to the youth because you've been teaching us it's all right to be an activist, right? But we need to have a good cause, right? And the thing is, when yung kalaban naman natin, ang gaganda ng mga pangalan na ginagamit nila, wais talaga sila. Wais, sir, talagang I'll really say, wais talaga sila. Pag naghahanap sila ng, they're so inviting, right? But the young people, and we know young people, they're so idealistic. Kayo na rin po nagsabi, they're so idealistic. So of course, these things are so attractive to them. But when we tell them the inside story, they're shocked, right? Not like this one. This is shocking for them because syempre they also don't want to be part of something as grave as this. They're realizing this now.
Yes. Mas maganda, Pia, kung alam mo, pagkwentuhin natin yung mga totoong nanggaling doon sa loob. I have one with me who is the Secretary General of Karapatan in Quezon. So nag-usap kami nung isang araw after na mag-surrender siya. Sabi ko, bakit ka sumuko? Kasi sir, hindi na kaya ng konsyensya ko kasi dahil doon sa mga itunutulak natin, sinusulong namin, ang dami-dami ng mga bata ang namamatay. May 10 na siyang na-recruit na nag-NPA. Karapatan siya, pero 10 ang naipadala niya na sa NPA. At marami sa kanila namatay na. So hindi niya na kayang sikmurain yung mga pinagagawa niya. Especially now na na-realize niya na narinig niya itong NTF-ELCAC. So inaral niya kung ano itong NTF-ELCAC. Bakit grabe yung pagbusisi ng mga makabayan black dito sa NTF-ELCAC. Inaral niya kung anong mga yon. May mga programa pala yung pinag-uusapan nating mga programa sa mga barangay, mga farm to market roads, mga livelihood. Bakit ito ino-oppose nitong mga makabayan black? Ito yung linalaban namin dito sa mga barangay. Ito yung sinasabi namin, ito yung mga pangmulat namin sa mga barangay, sa mga kanayan yun na ang gobyerno wala dito. Tingnan nyo, wala kayong matinong clinic, wala tayong kalsada rito. Yun yung ginagawa nilang pangmulat para sumalis, maging kasapi ng NPA. Pero ito na, nung dinadala na ng gobyerno dun sa barangay nila, ino-oppose ng mga ano. So actually, tinanong niya yan sa mga nakakataas sa kanya, sa karapatan. Sabi niya, huwag ka nang magtanong dyan kasi hindi mo naiintindihan. Yun yung sabi sa kanya. Doon siya nagduda. Doon daw siya nagduda until sa time na na-realize niya wala talaga sa lugar itong mga pinaglalaban natin. At ngayon, palibasa high school, hindi nga siya nakaapak ng high school eh. Elementary lang yung narating nito ni Gemma. So kausap ko nung isang araw, talagang umiiyak siya. Talagang sabi niya, sir, hindi ko kayang sikmurain na yung mga nangyayari pa sa ngayon. Kasi ang dami-dami kong pinahamak. Siya ngayon nagpupursige na hanapin ang mga ito para bumalik na. Incidentally, isa dun sa mga nag-NPA ay yung kanyang kapatid. Buti na lang yung kanyang kapatid ay nagbalik loob na rin. Actually nahuli yon tapos tinulungan na lang natin para hindi na mabulok sa kulungan. But yun, deception, grabing deception. And talking about Rano Massacre, alam mo, Pia, napakadami pang mga examples niyan.
Yes.
Yung panglilin lang nila. At para lang i-refresh natin yung ating mga tagapakinig, can you imagine isang pare, si Father Balweg, kilalang pare ito. Sa isang interview niya, sinabi niya doon, alam nyo, sa Northern Luzon, sa Cordilleras, kung merong 200 na napatay doon, baka mahigit 150 doon, NPA ang pumatay. Sila ang pumatay. But, sino ba ang sinisisi? Ang gobyerno ang sinisisi. Bakit? Kasi naging strategy nila yon. For instance, mayroong isang ambush sa isang lugar. Pupunta nila ngayon yung community. After ng ambush, ang gagawin nila, kukunin nila yung mga uniforme ng sundalo or ng pulis, isusuot nila, then babalikan nila yung community. Tapos, haharasin nila yung community, papuputukan nila, papatayin nila yung ibang mga mamayan doon. Para ano? Para sisihin yung gobyerno. Bakit anong isipin ngayon ng mga kababayan nila doon, mga kabaryo? Sabi nila, nagalit sa atin yung gobyerno kasi hinayaan natin yung NPA na ambusin yung mga sundalo dito malapit sa atin. So ganun talaga ang pinagagawa nila. Ito sa bunganga ito ni Father Balweg.
Mhm.
Napakadami pa niyang siniwalat. Pero sabi niya, alam mo yun si Father Peter at ayun, Father Peter, sabi niya, yung nawawalang mga pastor doon, mga napatay na pastor, including si Father Peter, sila ang may kagagawa nun. Pero sa tagal-tagal ng panahon, walang nakakaalam na NPA ang may gawa nun. Pero ang sinisisi ay yung gobyerno. Sabi niya, hindi, napakadami pa niyan. Ang dami pa naming ginawang mga kalukuhan dun sa and we are wearing the uniform of the soldiers and the PNP para yung sisi, yung galit ay mapunta. At dahil dun sa teknikang yon, ang dami-dami raw nilang na hikayat na mamundok na mga taga-Abra, mga taga-Cordillera, ang dami-dami. So, ang daming actually mga NPA sa ngayon ay mga biktima rin ng duplicity nitong mga NPA na ito. So balik ka doon sa advocacy. Alam mo, kung totoo yung advocacy mo, bakit ka sasali sa isang organisasyon na malinaw ang involvement dito sa mga violent na activities na ito? So dapat mag-isip talaga tayo kasi napakagaling, wais nga sabi mo, wais na wais at saka matatalino yung kinukuha nila. Ang mga rini-recruit nila para maging propagandista nila ay matatalino, magagaling on the top of their classes, and they start from the elementary school pa lang, na-identify na nila ito. Pag-aapak ng high school, lalo yung mga salutatorian, mga valedictorian dyan, yung mga yun yung mga binabantayan nila at yun yung tina-target nila. Such that pagdating ng college, kanila na. And can you imagine kung magagaling itong magagaling at magaganda ang pinipili nila at nakikita nila ito sa talagang ang daming maiikayat.
Yes, sir. Even in my own personal experience, and I have our soldiers to also vouch for this. No, in our public school, I really did go and begin a program with grade school because I was so sure na the influence was going to start there. And true enough, it really confirms what you're saying. Why will they start in high school or college? By that time, their minds are already made. They need to start with the ones who are open-slated, di ba? Yung open slates, di ba, sir, na para mapuno nila yan. This is what we want our parents to understand. Di ba? Para mapuno yung open slate ng information or ng ideology nila. Yet, because we are starting early also on our end as teachers, right? We're trying to also explain the students, kasi nga, sir, critical thinking skills ang ihinohon natin din dito. Nagtatanong-tanong na rin sila, di ba? Kung ganyan po ang turo nila, bakit po nababasa namin sa Facebook na, let's say, may mga lupa na po na binibigay sa ating mga farmers, di ba? Meron other, let's say, assistance given to cocoa farmers for corn, right, from the Department of Agriculture and all that, so that they see that their government is working. Ito yung lagi nating reiterate na whole of nation approach. Kabataan na po to, nakikita na rin nila. But at a younger age, mga 12, mga 11, nagtatanong-tanong na rin po sila.
Yeah, so tama yun, Pia, yung approach talaga ngayon, kailangan mas maaga yung intervention ng ating gobyerno because the strategy of the CPP is also changing. Nag-a-adapt sila. And wais nga sila wais kaya sila tumagal ng ganito katagal. But isang magandang programa sa ngayon ay itong ginagawa natin na i-expose na-expose at paulit-ulit nating ina-explain sa ating mga magulang, sa ating mga kababayan, sa mga estudyante kung paano nila ito ginawa for the longest time. Kaya nga sabi ko paulit-ulit kung binabanggit ko na yung NDFP, hindi yan sila peace lovers o hindi yan sila mga legitimate na legal organizations. No. Sabi nila, kung titingnan mo yung mga news in the past, bakit si ganito namatay? O bakit si ganito peace consultant hinuli? Peace consultant, NDF consultant yan, bakit hinuli? Hindi talaga nila naiintindihan kung anong role nitong mga consultants na ito sa underground. Ano ang participation nila sa underground? So maaring marami sa kanila never humawak ng baril. Never silang humawak ng baril. Kasi ang ginagamit lang nila yung utak nila and then yung network, yung connection nila dun sa community at saka sa underground para patakbihin yung underground. But, sabi nga ni Presidente, by mere participation of their members, kasama ka na doon. Complicity. That's complicity. So guilty ka. The act of one is the act of all. And yung NPA, CPP, NDF, they're one and the same. Yun yung sinusulat ko doon sa article ko, Pia, na
Yes.
iisa lang yan sila. Yung Trinity na yan, iisa lang yan sila. But of course, they always have a way of defending each. Sabi nila, hindi ako kasama dyan, NPA mga yan. Ako, NDF ako. Si CPP.
Kasama sa Trinity nga di ba?
Yes. So, kaya nga si Jomo Sison, kahit na nandun siya sa Utrecht, maraming naniniwala sa kanila. Walang naniniwala na siya ay involved sa terrorist act. Kasi, ang alam ng Europe, okay lang naman maging komunista. That is in Europe. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, ang komunista rito, merong armado. Sa Europe, wala. Dito, involved sila sa violent acts. Napakadaming violence ang kinasangkutan ng CPP dito sa Pilipinas. And so with the NDF, in one anniversary of the NDF 2 years ago, ito si Consa Araneta, pinagmalaki niya yon. Sabi niya, kami ay natutuwa and we are very proud for having contributed at least 50 casualties sa government side. 50 casualties. So pinagmamalaki nila yon. And this is the NDF Negros speaking. So napakalinaw na ito si NDF involved doon sa violent activities ng NPA. So therefore, kung titingnan mo, kung susuriin mo, even sa documents, ang nakalagay doon sa NDFP, especially when we say National Democratic Front Philippines, ang kasama doon ay NDF, CPP, at saka NPA. Palagi yan, magkasama yan pagka ang tawag ay NDFP. So, ganyan Pia yung duplicity nila, ganyan sila kawais. Kaya even yung si Associate Justice Carpio, sabi niya, tinatanong niya kung meron tayong ebidensya against this Makabayan Black who is part of the isang bayan. Sabi ko, this is a justice of the court, a Supreme Court Associate Justice. Kung siya, nalinlang siya ng mga grupong ito, kaya sa ngayon, magkakasama sila doon, paano na lang yung ordinaryong citizens? Paano na lang, Pia, yung hindi marunong magbasa, yung hindi marunong, di ba? So, we really have to do this. Talagang, we have to be consistent in educating our people about this, the nature of this insurgency.
Yes, sir. That's why this column of yours was really the last thing I wanted to tackle before we close our show, where you say the NDF and its last anniversary. Bakit na ba last? Last
yes,
anniversary.
Yeah. I'm very confident because we are already delving on the very, very meat and bones of this insurgency. Kumbaga, dati balat lang yung balat lang yung hagip natin, no? Hindi, na ito, diretso na ito, hanggang puso na ito. Yes, ang tinatalakay na natin dito yung utak, binubulat-lat na natin yung utak at saka yung puso nila para lalong maintindihan ng taong bayan. And I think sa mga responses ng reaction ng mga netizens, ano sila, na-educate talaga sila and they're craving for more information. Sir, pwede ba ipagpatuloy mo ito at ang dami naming nalalaman, ang dami naming natututunan. Bakit walang nagsasalita about these organizations before? Bakit ngayon lang? And I have to explain again, Pia, that's because of our political situation. Ang politika, this insurgency has always been a part of the political warfare. It's really political warfare and propaganda, number one yan, number one. But for the longest time, ang in-address lang natin ay yung armed component. No, we have to be politically astute. We have to understand the political spectrum. Merong pinost sa aming Viber, yung political spectrum, left of center, right of center, extreme left, extreme right. Sabi ko, kulang ito, ma'am. You have to understand what's above ground and what's underground. Oo nga. So, ito talaga, ganun dapat tayo mag-dissect ng society para hindi natin sasaktan, hindi naman dapat mahagip dito sa counterinsurgency natin at hindi namin makulong yung mga aktivista lang, mga dissenters lang. At pakinggan natin yung argumento nitong kabila. Kasi kung hindi natin naiintindihan itong political spectrum na ito, mahirap tayong i-debatihin sila. So ngayon, takot sila ngayon na humarap sa atin for debates, for mga exchanges na ganito, kasi alam nila na ngayon, naiintindihan na ng AFP, naiintindihan na ng gobyerno kung ano ang nature nila. At ito'y patuloy. Kasi dati, kami yung napapag-anuhan na red taggers kasi dati ako lang ang nagsasalita, 2017-18, ako lang yung nagsasalita, Pia, maalala mo yon. Kaya ako yung nabansagan nila na Berdugo o Red Tagger. Pero nung linabas na natin yung mga cadres, na ito na, sina Ka-Eric nagsasalita na. Starting with that issue on si Liza Soberano and Angel Locsin. Nung sila nang nagsasalita, saka ngayon nagulat yung mga taong bayan. So all the while, tama pala yung sinasabi ni Jar Parlin na Yusek Badoy. Kasi ito na yung mga dati ng kadre ang nagsasalita kung ano ang kanilang ginagawa para ma-penetrate, ma-infiltrate itong lahat ng sectors ng ating society at kung paano nila i-circumvent yung mga batas. I-circumvent kung paano nila salihan ang demokrasya para sirain ito. So essentially, mga wais talaga ito kaya kinakailangan mas wais tayo, Pia. Tama itong ginagawa mo.
You're so right there. Not to mention nga po, pati yung pondo nila, syempre, kinakabahan na rin sila sa mga pondo nila, hindi po ba? That's also...
talking about that, Pia, I'm happy to report to our people na yung Rural Missionaries of the Philippines, which is supporting all these salugpungan schools, alternative learning centers, mga SOS na yan. Ano yan? China Channel and proudly, yung European Union dati, tuwang-tuwa sila and they're very proud that they are supporting these Rural Missionaries of the Philippines. Hanggang in-engage natin at nalaman nila, ganun pala yun. Ito pala mga pondo na nakakarating sa, galing sa, sa gobyerno namin yan. Bakit tutulungan yung mga terorista? So, frozen na yung pondo ng Rural Missionaries of the Philippines, frozen na yung pondo ng UCCP. So, ang dami pang organizations yan. At yung iba naman, because of the effort also of Secretary Locsin, tumigil na yung European Union and other government or other European organizations and states in supporting these NGOs. And all these funds, kung sakali man ipupursu nila, ay dapat dumaan sa DFA. Kailangan alam ng ating gobyerno. So yan yung magagandang developments. Kaya ngayon, Pia, gutom sila. So that is why I'm very, very confident. I'm very confident that if you will be able to sustain this, wala silang pera. And remember, I think they're getting 80% of their funding from abroad.
Yes.
Church-based organizations, all these states supporting them. Now, kung matigil ito, hindi sila pwede mag-survive sa 20%.
Yes.
Sabi ko nga, in my past, in our program in the past, sabi ko nga, pinagtsatsagaan nila yung 34,000 pesos sa isang platoon ng NPA. 34,000, kasama na dyan yung sigarilyo nila, yung bigas, yung pangkape. Kaya sabi nila, sir, paano kami mabubuhay nito? Lalo na ngayon na walang suporta
Ganyan.
yung mga
Tama
masa
po.
sa amin. Kaya ang dami nang nagsusurrender. So now, I'm really
Sir,
confident.
sorry. I think we lost your signal there. But we have to say goodbye na rin po to all our viewers. We lost you a bit there, sir. Pero okay lang po. Till the next time, sir. Hindi pa tayo tapos. Sabi nga natin this is Education Radio and this will be the last anniversary, as you said, and also what the President said, tatapusin na natin ito. Maraming salamat po, General Parlade. Thank you for being our teacher, as usual and as always.
Thank you, Pia.
Make
Maraming
sure
salamat.
till the next time.